Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Filmed in front of a live studio audience in the beautiful Burlington, North Carolina. Today's guest hosts are Alex and Ginny Abian.
Fired up! Woo! 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 Oh my gosh! Did we get started? We're live? We're live! Woo! All right, man. Thank you guys so much. I cannot believe Andy Albright trusted me with the Lions Nation. Man, I think I need some more coffee. Oh my gosh, this is just amazing. Thank you, Andy Albright and Jane Albright, for, giving me the controls of the Alliance. Oh my God! And if production goes down this week, my name is Kyle John Weinbrenner. Anyway, so have you seen like my red pants? You guys seen my red pants? My red shoes? I'm a recent graduate of the Paul Roberts School of Fashion Design. Shout out to Louisville team. They're filled out by, I can hear them. They're screaming. Anyway, I'm amped up, man. I'm so fired up. We got so many great things to share with you, and we appreciate y'all coming out to the TWC. Those of you at home, man, we're here to serve. And I've got my lovely wife here with me, Ginny Abian. This is my lovely wife. My better half. Does she like do the scarf thing, like really cool? She's like, man, almost as good as a black woman, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously. She'll be, okay, she gave me that look, the roll the eye look. I've seen that on Jane Albright's face too. So she's just duplicating Jane Albright when she looks at Andy. So I think I'm maybe getting there anyway. And then we got my man, Patrick Connors. Woo! So Patrick will be up in a little bit. So anyway, man, we're fired up. We're going to do some recognition because that's what our culture is about, man. Recognizing people for what they do, right? It's a whosoever doeth business. Right. So we're going to bring up our leaderboards for the trip. Nope. Whoops. I think we're fighting. Okay, let's do this one. All right, personal production year to date for the Alaska trip. We're going to name off the top 10. And we got a lot of these people in my group. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so number 10, we got Megan and Michael Noel's team, 149,822. Man, that's rocking. We have Janina W., Olga and Jason Mathis team, 150,134. We got Alaric and Leticia, Kelly Haney team, 155,989. Jonathan and Megan, we know who they are. Mike and Michelle Alleman team, 169,170. That's rocking, man. Number 6, Robert W. on Lauren Atkins' team, 193,988. Now the next group broke 200,000. We got Mike and Michelle Alleman and they're on their team, 204,586. We got Minerva Profil, 206,924. Brant and Jill Swindell, 263,750. Number 2, Brandon B. on the Eduardo Soto team, 267,411. And Brandon B., man, I'm wearing red, brother. All right. And Mark H. This guy rocks, man. Stephen Davies' team, 267,657. And if you look at this leaderboard, these aren't like fake points, man. These are like people are making money, right, Terry? They're making some money. They're on their way to the trip. In fact, these folks up here are on the extension trip. And then we've got a bunch of other people down here. And you know what they say? People are fired up are on this leaderboard. That's right. I love it. Okay, let's look at the manager leaderboard. Okay, who's going to do that? Billy Becky? Okay, the managers. So number 10 manager, we got James Hill in the house. 183,385. We got Eric and Bobby Belair, 193,529. Minerva Profil, 214,068. Mike and Michelle Aliman, 216,455. Number 6, my man Fitzgerald, 223.06. Diane Lampy, 258, 159. Makanoa Leventovich, 271, 038, number 4. Number 3 is my man Stephen Davies, 299, 438. We got Andy Riddle at 328, 676. And number 1, there's only one number 1, Louisville, your own Paul Roberts. 380, 570, man. We are fired up for all these managers. That's rocking. Okay, now we got the power of 10. So these folks hit 10 issue paid policies, and they get recognized. There's a significant milestone when you hit 10 issue paid policies, which typically means statistically, push my glasses up, statistically, these people are going to be in and they're going to be doing it. So we're very fired up for Nicolaus J. on the Eric Lardy team, Cassandra L. on the Gary Moore team, Vivette on the Andy Riddle team, then Mary S. Brent and Jill Swindell. You're going to get a t-shirt, right? A cool t-shirt you can wear proudly. And we're fired up for you. So congratulations, y'all. You guys are killing it. Let's see. All right, now, who made the Alaska trip? All right, man, let's share it with you. Mr. Paul Van Thoth just hit Alaska. So Annette, you can come up and you can tear the sticker off and stick it up there. And then Mr. Joseph Dukes. Woo! Joe rocks, man. Joseph rocks. He moved out to Salt Lake City. Man, so y'all recruit out there. He's going to take care of your people. We're very fired up about that. You got another one to put up there? All right, my assistant. All right, gang, we're going to share some stuff with you, and we're very excited to be here. I'm probably most excited because I get to share with you my love of my life, my bride, Jeannie Avian. She has been overcoming and kicking cancer's butt. And is that cool? She totally inspires me. And this is a picture I wanted to show at the family reunion, but this is my bride when we got married. And she had both breasts here, but I didn't marry her though for her breasts, okay? So just I married her for her mind, her brain. Anyway, she's the love of my life, and I've learned so much from Jenny these years that we've been together, and she inspires me. This last 6 months have been something else, and man, I love her so much, and I can't wait to unleash her on you. All right, so sweetie, come on up. Jenny Avian.
Okay, so I'm picking this mic. I hope this is the right one. I was told I could pick whichever one I liked. Okay, so I thought that I would share with you today a little bit about what does do the do look like if you're the supportive spouse, right? Okay, I have always been the supportive spouse, except for a little bit at the beginning when I was the unsupportive spouse. And we'll talk about that a little bit too. Okay, so please forgive me if I refer to the supportive spouse as the wife, or if I say she, or you all are smart people and you all can replace the pronouns and the titles as you see fit, right? So to your appropriate situation. Anyway, so I thought I'd go back and kind of give you a little background. There's no one way to be a supportive spouse, and I've been all kinds of supportive spouses. So Alex and I have been at least partially self-employed for 27 years, which is crazy because I'm only 27 years old. So, you know. Well, you actually do a better job of that than I do, remembering our anniversary. So this goes all the way back to the Amway business. So we got in the Amway business back in 1992. 93. Okay, 93. January 1993, apparently. So, Alex, well, we had been married like, a year or something. Still newlyweds. 2 years we've been married. Still newlyweds. But, we were both working and we were not hurting, but we were not as comfortable as we wanted to be either. So when an old acquaintance or coworker called Alex and said, "Hey, are you open?" He said, "Yes, what do I do?" But he did that on his own and got involved. And I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know anything about it. So to me, that was kind of like, an invader. That was something that was taking his attention away from me. So, he was off doing his thing. So it wasn't like I was trying to, sabotage him or anything, but I wasn't supportive either because, this was some foreign entity. But then he invited me to come to some stuff. So like my first thing was a weekend function, which may have been like jumping in the deep end. But so I'm pretty sure that this is what it looked like the entire drive there and probably like the first day and a half. It kind of looked like this. No, it really did. But I got around the people. I saw the opportunity. I saw the system. And I started buying in. So not like I was going to do anything, but it was okay if he did it. And I think I actually said after that weekend, you know what? We'll replace our income. You retire first. And I'll just keep working so that you can go like full time and, build the business. I think I actually said that. But what actually happened was the more I experienced and the more people I met, the more involved I got. And it was because I was exposed to it. So we kind of became, partners in the whole thing. And we were both selling. We were both recruiting. We were both building. I was doing the bookkeeping because no beans would have been counted if it was up to him. So, my accounting background had me counting and arranging all the beans, which I've kept doing all the way along. But we replaced my income first, and I did flush my stupid job. Back in 1995, was it 1995? Yeah, right before our first child was born. So I was like 8 months pregnant, and I never went back to work, and it was wonderful. So, with kids at home, kept building the business, kept working together. And then, child number 2 came along, child number 3 came along. By that point in time, that's child number 3 right over there at the camera. When Maddie was about, I think maybe like almost a year old, that's when Alex got involved in insurance, and Andy gave him the call and said, "Hey, Bo." So at that point, I was kind of mired down in children. So I was still the supportive spouse, but I wasn't like out there doing everything with him. I was what I call the supportive at-home spouse. So I was raising the children, managing our home, and making things so that he could go out and do what he needed to do. And that's an important role, because if I wasn't doing that, he couldn't go out and do the things that he needed to do. If I was looking to him and saying, "Hey, I need you to do this. Honey, would you do this? Honey, would you do this? Would you put the kids to bed every night? Would you?" So we did that, added 2 more kids on top of that. So finally, fast forward to when the kids are finally all in school. Once the kids were all in school, I started kind of asking, "Hey, what can I do?" Can I help? Can I? And I think I said, can I, for about 2 years before he finally threw me a couple of bones and let me do a couple of things. Seriously, I had to ask a long time. Oh, that is absolutely the way it happened. Yeah, who are you going to believe? Yeah. So then I kind of went back into the helper mode. Started doing a few things, cleaning up this here, getting my hands in this here. And I guess he decided that it was all right because he, let me do more and more. As the kids got older, as the kids got more independent, we kind of got back to where we were partners again. I was still working at home, so I could still be there when the kids came home from school. I could still take them wherever they needed to go and work when I needed to work. So what I do for our business today is still the bookkeeping, because beans would never get counted over here. But I'm also our lead manager, so I train all of our new agents on the lead system, and I manage all the leads and GMRs and all that kind of stuff. And then I also pull our resumes so that we can feed our recruiting machine, so our recruiters have something to do. So my main point is there's no one way to be that supportive spouse. It can look all different ways. So you really just have to figure out what works for you. And it can and probably will change over time because situations change over time, as evidenced by our story over the years. If you're in a situation where you're trying to figure out what that looks like for you, don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to reach out to other couples and find out what has worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. There's lots of models out there. Reach out to your growing upline and ask them if they can get you in touch with other people who might be in a similar situation to you. I think we probably have every possible example in the Alliance, because we've got a lot of couples and a lot of people have found different ways that work for them. So, you might find that you both want to be out there doing everything. You both want to be out there selling. You both want to be out there recruiting. Fantastic. Maybe that's kind of looks like a Mike and Noel Leventovich. Or you divide and conquer, and one of you's doing the selling, one of you's doing the recruiting, and it looks more like a James and Jane. Probably what you're going to see most commonly, though, is kind of this supportive helper where you've got maybe one spouse who's scrubbing apps or working the pending or doing the bookkeeping like I did, or setting appointments. You heard at family reunion, Angie Owens talking about how she used to set appointments for Michael. So there's lots of different examples and lots of different combinations. But also that really important supportive at-home spouse, where maybe you're not out there, you're not doing things physically in the business, but you are doing all the background stuff to make it so that your spouse can go do what they need to do. And that could be raising children, it could be managing your own career, or both, managing the household. I also want to make sure that everybody understands that you don't have to be Noel Leventovich. You don't have to be Jane Hill. You don't have to be Angie Owens. You don't have to be Heather Fitzgerald. We already have them.
That's good. Right?
But what we need is you, and figure out how you fit in. So if you can be who you are, you're going to inspire the person who needs to hear from you. because there's somebody out there who you're going to speak to. You don't know who that person is. They don't know that you're going to speak to them, but you're the person who will identify with them. So be the best person that you can be, and in whatever role that you find that you can do in this business. Also, don't compare yourself. If you see Heather Fitzgerald and you say, "Oh my gosh, I could never do that." You know what? She wasn't always like that. You know, she grew into that. So don't compare yourself today. You know, maybe you've just been in the business a year or 2 years or something like that. Don't compare yourself to somebody who's already grown through the business. Let yourself grow at your own pace and just be the best you can be, because there's somebody out there who does need to hear from you and hear your story, and that's what's really going to touch them. So I just want to take a couple of minutes and talk to the active spouse that maybe has an unsupportive spouse. Because, I mean, you know, I was like that for a little while. But so what can you do to help your spouse to maybe not be unsupportive? Here's my suggestions. Don't push or force. I mean, what happens when somebody tries to force you to do something you don't want to do? You're just going to be met with more resistance. That doesn't help. So don't push, don't force. Also make it attractive. If what they're seeing is you having a horrible time and you fighting with yourself and, you know, you cursing over scrubbing your apps, and, you know, that's not going to be very attractive for them to want to get involved in. Invite them to come with you without any expectations. Invite them to come to a hot spot. Invite them to come to a weekend. The more that you can get them around the system and meet the people, I think that is the biggest thing that can work on somebody, is understanding the system and meeting some of the tremendously awesome people that we have in the Alliance. Treat your spouse the way you want them to be. So if you treat them as the supportive spouse that you want them to be, or you know, if you want your husband to be the king, treat him like the king. If you want your wife to be the queen, treat her like the queen. And people tend to become the way they're treated, the way you speak to them. You can't change another person, but you can change yourself. So you can't work on another person, but you can work on yourself. So don't concentrate on trying to change your spouse or work on them. But if you work on yourself and make yourself the best you can be, that's going to be an attractive thing for your spouse to want to follow. A couple of books that are my favorite books, and these are not books that you give your spouse necessarily if they're unsupportive. These are maybe books for you. The 5 Love Languages is one of my favorites, because you want to understand maybe how they are interpreting your love, how they're feeling it, how they're seeing it, and then also what you say when you talk to yourself, just to make sure that you are speaking to them as you want them to be, and also speaking to yourself the way you want to be. So I think that's everything that I have. Yep. So with that, I want to bring up Apparently my husband again. All right, so this is the love of my life. We've had a lot going on the last few months, and from moment number one, he couldn't have been any more supportive. So he's really taken up every bit of slack from me, and kept up with everything himself as well. So here's my king.
Wow, man, I tell you what, how can you not fight the battles when you have someone like that to come home to you? One thing she never did when she was supporting me was she never asked me how many sales I made. She didn't put that pressure on me. She goes, I'm proud of you, honey, for doing this for our family. When she would do that, it would just make me feel, she never looked at my performance. She never, and the other thing I did not do is I didn't counsel with her on my business. I counseled with Andy Albright because you know what? She and I shared the same bank account. Isn't it better to counsel with someone who had a bigger bank account than you? And so I always counseled with Andy. And you know what? She knew that I talked to Andy. That's why she could have confidence that I was getting the right advice. So she never gave me advice on the business. She knew that Andy was doing his thing with me, and she gave me my room to grow, even though she might have thought, oh man, Andy would want you to. She never said that. She let Andy work with me and give me a chance to grow. So, sweet, I appreciate it. I'm very humbled. Anyway, so when it comes to making decisions in the alliance and in your business, the first person you should talk to is your upline growing manager, right? And the ultimate person that you should look at is Andy Albright, and what has he done to make his decisions all his life. He doesn't tell his story just to be funny. Laced within his story are decisions that he made. He's not telling you to make those decisions. What he's telling you is that if you made those decisions, your business and your life could change dramatically like it did for him. And so sometimes you can't just call Andy and say, hey, should I do this? Should I do that? Hey, Andy, should I check Facebook? Or should I, Sometimes you have to kind of make decisions on a criteria. And one thing that Andy taught me was, what's the proper decision to make? Because leaders make decisions without being told what to do. They make it on their own because they're leaders, right? And so he taught me this criteria. The first, if you're looking to do anything, it could be any little thing or any big thing, especially in the business, is would I honor God by it? Number one, would God be honored by this decision I made? The second criteria is, would this decision I make reflect on the alliance and Andy Albright positively? Would that be something that Andy Albright would look and say, hey, Bo, man, that's an awesome decision you made? Would it help the alliance? Because you know what? The alliance is all of you. And if we make any decisions that tear you down and tear the business down, tear my business down, it affects everyone.
That's true.
See, this culture is a culture that we're as weak as the weakest link, right? So when we make decisions, is it going to be good for Andy and the alliance? The third criteria, is it going to be good for my business team? Would I be proud for my agents to see me making this decision and the results of it? Because you know what happens? Your agents will duplicate half the good stuff and twice the bad stuff.
That's right.
Know what I mean? So I look, is it good for my team? And then, is it good for my family? Will this help my family? Notice in all of the criteria, I never looked out, is it good for me? Because you know what? If it honors God, if it supports the alliance and Andy Albright, if it's good for my team and it's good for my family, guess what? It's going to be good for me. Because you know what? I focus on other people and, so it's a simple decision like, should I make a comment on Facebook? It was crazy. Andy calls me and goes, hey, dude, I got, people run my Facebook, right? And I go, yeah, I know. I'm not on it. He goes, and I go, yeah, I know, And then he goes, well, your boy so-and-so made this comment on someone's thing. And it's like, did he really? He goes, you can't tell him not to, but I just want to let you know. And I'm going, man, Andy knows everything. I'm going, wow. But you know what? When your agents see you doing that, they're going to do it too. So, and it's interesting that even if they don't see you do it, they'll know. Like, if they'll know you're not reading. Does that make sense? So, for me, when I guided my, in the business, when I guide my decisions, I usually use that criteria. And I hope, that made sense to y'all, all right? I want to acknowledge my lovely daughter here, Maddie. Come on. Come on. Come on, sweetie. Okay, this is her last week here. She's been interning at the Alliance. And it's just been, everyone here has just said how much they love her. And it's like, wow, that is so cool. I mean, I love her too, but it's so cool that you do too, And so I asked her, so what's it like working here? So, go ahead.
What's it like working here?
What's it like working? Like, now we get a chance to look on the inside of the company from my daughter's eyes, who had no idea really what we did. She thought we were like secret agents. She didn't know what agents meant. So, I mean, so what'd you think about the Alliance?
It's a lot different than what I thought it was. I just thought that I was going to work for, a life insurance agency doing graphic design. I was like, how cool would that be? But it actually is really, really awesome. You see the stuff, we're doing crazy stuff, and it's surprising, and the sense of community and family here is overwhelming, and it's no surprise that there's so much support for my family. When my mom was diagnosed, we just, our home was filled with flowers and all of these wonderful gifts. So the support was the most impactful, crazy thing ever, to know that we're that loved. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's my daughter. I love her. I told her, regular corporate world is not like this. So just be ready when you go experience, the world outside. All right, give her a hand. Thank you, sweetie. Hey, by the way, did you get that hierarchy change to put Fitz under me and Lampy and Riddle under me, right? Okay. It helps to have someone on the inside. All right, man. I'm going to bring up my best friend in the world. I'm his godfather. So Jane and James are like cousins, God's cousins to Patrick. And man, 6 foot something. You had to put him over the baptismal font. Because we're Catholic. We don't dunk. Because hey man, a little bit on the forehead, you're good. Holy Spirit's there. But anyway, I want to introduce you to him, man. He's my best friend, and man, Patrick, come on out, man.
All right. Thanks, bro. That was awesome. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very much, Jenny. Hard to follow those guys, especially Jenny. That was really good stuff. So welcome. My name is Patrick Connors. I was hired by Alex and Jenny Abian, and my home hotspot is Cincinnati, Ohio. Woohoo! So, Andy talks about the stuff that we have to go through in life, right, Pam? Like he says, either we just came out of some stuff, or we're stuck right now in some stuff, knee deep in it sometimes, or we're headed towards some stuff. But that's just life, right? Isn't that what he tells us? And the culture that I've learned from the Alliance, and the culture that Alex has always taught me, and what Andy has spread the message is, it's going to be okay. It's just the struggle before the victory, right? So since everybody likes a train wreck, right? Everybody, and you're not a proper American if you don't rubberneck when you see the crash site. I thought I'd share with you a train wreck. Would you like to share one of my stuff? In fact, maybe some of you guys were standing in this same exact pile of stuff. I can't wait to hear if we were. So one day, Suzanne and I were coming back from a conference, Tia, and we went flying over a mountain, and we just kept on flying, and I don't know what happened, but the car was totaled. That's about the last thing I remember. It's a miracle we made it. And when the whole thing was said and done with the finances and the hunk of metal and the totaling out and the insurance, this is about how much money we got out of it. And this is about how much I still owed on the car. You with me? So we were upside down on our loan. I didn't have any money to pay off the loan or get a new car, Kyle. I didn't have any credit so I could go get myself something nice out there. You with me, Cameron? And I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. So I called Alex Abian. And I said, Alex, what am I going to do? And he said, well, come on over and we'll talk about it. And I said, I can't. I don't have a car. So he's like, all right, I'll come over there. And he was giggling when he got over there. See, Alex doesn't like stress about the struggle. He's not like, this is going to be the best struggle ever. Like, let's document this struggle. He's already thinking about the victory, right? So he was like, Patrick, it's going to be okay. So let's think what we can do here. What we need to do is find a really old, beat-up car that will, like, you can get it cheap. You know, you could probably get some spare change from your sofa and buy one of these kind of cars. You probably need a Toyota Camry. You probably need a Honda Accord. You need one with like 300,000 miles on it. I'm like, whoa, this is good stuff. Let me write this down. So, you know, I grab a pen, and I'm like, say, what did you say? He goes, a Toyota Camry. I'm like, got it. Or what was the other one? He said, a Honda Accord. I said, why those cars? He said, Patrick, they'll go forever. I mean, you can drive them forever, like 500,000 miles. He didn't make it seem to me like this was going to be a clunker. He made it seem like I had hope, like I had an option, Terry. You with me? So I was like, okay, so what are they again? A Toyota Camry or what was the other one? He goes, a Honda Accord, right, a Honda Accord. Toyota Camry or Honda Accord. Got it. So I got this, no problem. Toyota Camry, Honda Accord. So I chose a Volvo. And it was the most beat up thing you could ever imagine. Oh man, I have no idea why that popped into my head. Something about it'll last forever. I was thinking Volvos last forever. But man, that car was so much fun, Jan. I remember the first time I was driving it home, pieces were falling off of the car. I was looking in the rearview mirror, I could see stuff, you know, and it would make all these noises, like it was mumbling and sputtering and complaining. It was BMCing the whole way home every time I hit a bump. And I think it sounded, you know what it sounded like? A new agent who's just come out of the negative world into the family and hasn't read Inside the Circle yet. And they haven't heard Paul Roberts talk about love conquers all. And they haven't heard Tim Goad say love is unconditional. So they're all, you know, like Jenny was talking about, remember? So, but I loved this car. We had so much fun in this car. And it sounded different. Would you like to hear how it sounded? Okay, so I get in my car. And I'm driving down the road, and you know how most cars, they go, ray, ree, ri, ro, roo, like that, right? My car didn't do that. I think my car was Swedish or something, because it was like, it would just go, ray, ree. Have you ever flown on a jet airplane? You been on a jet airplane? That's what it sounded like. That's what my Volvo sounded like. But I didn't care. I really didn't care at all. I barely even noticed it. You know why? This was not a car. This was a rolling university, right? So, and Andy was talking about popping tapes in. Pop the tapes in. You young people, whatever. But they're called cassette tapes. And I would pop a cassette tape in. I'd be listening, you know, and I'm listening to, I think maybe one was like Alex Abian or one was Mike and Noel Leventovich. I remember there was a bootleg copy of a tape. We weren't even supposed to have this. There's people, can I say this? Statute of limitations expired. But there was one guy on there, Adam Katz was on there, and he was talking about, did you know there was a second flood? It was like Noah's Ark Point 2 or something like that. He drove through this crazy flood, but he said on his first weekend ever with the Alliance, he made more money than the previous whole month as a school teacher. And I just kept like, rewind, play. I'm like, I like this. This is good stuff, right? So then, and I would listen to, I remember, Fitz on the phone. Guess what that one's about? Fitz on the phone. Like he wasn't, where's the levels? He wasn't an SBM like he is now going EBM. He wasn't even in the blue trapezoids. He wasn't a green square, yellow triangle. I'm really not sure if he was even a red dot yet. He wasn't training. He was recording himself, setting appointments so he could listen later to get better. Isn't that brilliant? but somehow we got a copy of it. So it was a hoot. I would listen to that, but my all-time favorite speaker, maybe it's yours too, who was it? It was Andy Albright. I mean, we had tapes on urgency and how to manage leads, but my favorite was when my man Alex Abian and a buddy sat next to Andy Albright and put those little cassette recorder and pressed record. And Andy said, come on, give me everything you got. And they were rifling different objections at him. The things they heard when they were calling clients, or the things they saw, Nick, when they were in the home. And they were just blasting him, Terry. And Andy was just coming back like bam, bam, bam. And the tape was called All the Objections. If you could find a copy of that thing, it's golden. You're not going to find a copy of that thing. But anyway, so I was listening to that. But what was I really listening to in my car? I was really listening to the same message, tape after tape after tape. It was, what do I want? How do I get it? Right? That's pretty much all it was, plus a little bit of shicky-boom mixed in, right? So I'm sitting in my car like, and then all of a sudden, one day I had to pop the tape out and flip it over. Again, you millennials. So I popped it out, but not all the tape came out. This is my rolling university. So I'm like trying to get it out of there, and I'm like, it's like one of those magician scarves. I'm looking, and there's ramen noodles and like mom spaghetti. What is this? And there's like Rapunzel's in it. I'm like, what am I going to do? I was freaking out. So I called Alex. I said, Alex, what am I going to do? He said, Patrick, it's going to be okay. It's just the struggle before the victory. I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I thought about it, and I thought, I don't need a car to play the tape. I'll just put my little recording device right next to my ear and crank the volume all the way because, ring! You know, what do I want? How do I get it? What do I want? How do I get it? Shikaboom, right? And then, have you ever felt like a loss of hope? Like, serious business, not smiling. Like, you're so crushed, your spirit, like, the world is caving in around you. You can't breathe, like you're squeezed. You felt like that before? Like you thought the sky was falling? Well, that's the way this car was too. My car felt the same way you did, because one time I hopped into my car and I thought, that's weird. Maybe them vitamins are kicking in, because either the car shrunk or I'm getting taller. And then I looked up and the sky was falling. It was actually falling. Like the liner was like sagging down. And I was like, this is weird. What the heck? So there's like some cork in there apparently, and they spray it with green, like orange glue, and then they slap the fabric on. That's how they call it a sealing or something. Well, that glue died like 100,000 miles ago. So I was like, okay, no problem, I got this. So I would screw, like I was screwing little cork screw. I just screw it in. So it was like, it looked like curtains, screwing them in. But those little cork screws are sharp on the end. So I was ripping it and tearing it and slashing it. It looked like Freddy Krueger up in there. So, which didn't seem like a big deal until I went over my first bump. Kaboom. It was like Christmas time in Tennessee. It was like orange Christmas snowflakes all over the place. It was in my hair. It was on my clothes. This was crazy. And I was like, well, who cares? What do I want? How do I get it? What do I want? How do I get it? Right? So I didn't have a cell phone back then. This is my tape. This is my tape player. So you guys know this is my tape player, okay? So then I'm driving down the road. Hey, one more question. If it's raining outside, you with me? And you're inside, do you get wet? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Are you listening, Volvo? Are you listening? So I'm in my car, I'm just driving down the road, and all of a sudden, slap, slap, slap. Okay. Slap, slap, slap. The windows are shut, the doors are shut, there's no kids in the back squirt gunning. What the heck? And I was like, well, actually, it's kind of refreshing. I mean, there is no air conditioning in this thing, so. But the problem was that water that was leaking in was mixing with that orange dandruff on my shoulders. It was like some glowing, pulsing, plutonium, some kind of radioactive. Ugh. So I had to find the leak. So where was the leak? Well, look, can I turn my car for you? Listen. So facing this way, the window, normally when you press the power button, it goes like this. Zip. Isn't that what happens? Like, is that what your car does? Zip. This one went like this. Zoop. So like where the seatbelt was connected right here, the post, there was like a big gap right there where the window is supposed to be. And all that water was like smacking me. I'm like, how am I going to solve this? Like, it didn't work. So I thought about it. I thought Alex would be laughing already. I'm like, you know what? I got this, no problem. So I got out of the car. It's raining. Got out of the car, opened the door, and then took off my shoes. Okay. Then I licked my hands like this. And I rub them together, and they get kind of hot. A little bit sticky and hot. You can do this if you want. It's kind of fun. You can try it at home. I'm pretty sure it meets the Stephen Davies ISO 3001 hygienic standard. So I was like, and then I would like use some like Karate Kid Bolitnikov thing with my big toe on the door and like pull the window back while I went up like that. Bam! It worked. I couldn't believe it. It was like an Andy Riddle or an Andy Albright jump. Never mind, that didn't work. So anyway, so I'm back in my car. Everything's great. I'm like, I just did some Formula One precision pit stopping right there. You know, woo! And then I pull into McDonald's and open the window again. What was I thinking? Over and over. And you know, I couldn't keep pulling out of the car to do that in the rain. I had to figure out how to do it while I was driving. So I was like, how's this going to work? So I set my cassette recorder down, my cassette player down, and I started driving with my knees a little bit. And licky, rubby, licky, rubby. And then I reach over with this hand and pull it back this way. Zip, closed. Voila! It worked. Can you believe it? So there you go. That's what I would do. Like, slap, licky, rubby, boogieing on down the road. What do I want? How do I get it? Shiki-boom! That's what I did. Everything was working great, except do you guys have brothers and sisters? Do you have brothers and sisters? Do you have brothers and sisters? Do you guys fight? I'm pretty sure the windshield wipers on my Volvo were brothers because they were always like going at it against each other. Like, what are windshield wipers supposed to do, right? Squeak, 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 squeak. Not these ones. They were like, squeak, 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 squeak. And then they would like do this. And it was only like 3 squeaks. I mean, the windshield wasn't even dry yet. And they would like start fighting each other. So I got to pull over, open the door, get out, run around the front of the car to this side. Then I had to like do something, jerry-rig this little, wrestle with it. Then run around over here. Ha! Got it fixed. Oh no, the door didn't work. It's not like Diane Lampy's house. They didn't start with the door and then build the car around it. I couldn't get it. And there's cars coming by splashing me. What am I going to do? So I ran around the front of the car, opened up the passenger door, leaned all the way through, opened that door, pop it into traffic, mess those people up driving like this door, like, right in front. Then I come back over here, hop in my car, woo, ring, slap, wee, and I was just boogieing on down the road. And then I heard a flap. Have you guys ever heard a flap? I mean, like, what's a flap? I don't even know how to spell flap. And I kept hearing it, flap. Well, it turns out the way this Volvo's windshield worked was they just set it there, and they put this little black rubber weather stripping around the outside. That's all that was holding it in place. So the corner of it over here started to come up like this. And the faster I would drive, Jane, the more it would be like going, like 3 inches, it was just fluttering. 9 inches, it was like smacking. And it got about 2 feet, it was flapping. I didn't mind the flapping because I was listening to Andy Albright. But I was afraid the windshield was going to pop out. That would have been a big problem. So I pulled over the car, come out, run around to the front of the car. I was beating that thing until it got back into place. Then I ran back to the front of the car again. I forgot the door. So I got to run back over here, open the door, reach in, open the door, throw the door into traffic, come running around over here, hop back in the car, bam, heading to EVP again. Are you guys with me? And I loved it. I loved every minute of that car. It was the best. I kept doing it. I was doing the do. I was, going to the hot spots, chasing down Alex and Andy. And one day, I was pulling up in my driveway. And it was a new driveway. And I saw some cars in the driveway. And they were my cars. And there was 5 of them. And we had like a little minivan because I think there was a time we only had 5 kids or something. But then we were like 7 or 8, and she was threatening to have more. So then we got one of these big extended vans. So there was a couple vans, there was a Lexus, there was a BMW, and I just, I pulled the Volvo up onto the grass. I saw my wife on the front porch with our biannual baby. And I just pulled the key. I pulled the key. I just pulled it out, and it did a Blues Brothers. It went, psst. And I walked up to the door, and she gave me a kiss, and she said, "You've got to throw that thing in the trash." And about that time, a lawnmower guy came up the driveway and said, "Man, I love those cars." And my wife said, "You can have it." Grabbed my keys, threw it at the guy. I'm not making this up. He's like, "Well, I feel guilty just taking your car like that." She said, "Leave $100 under the doormat tonight." Next morning, there was a plastic baggie with $100. That's the last I ever saw of that Volvo. What's the whole point of that story? We all go through stuff, right? If we don't quit, we get to laugh about it later, right? So I wonder if any of you were in that same pile of stuff with me. What have you made it through so far? You don't want it to be wasted. What are you in right now? You can make it through. What are you facing uphill? Come on, it's not a big deal. Like Alex says, like Andy says, it's going to be okay. It's just the struggle before the victory. Thank you for letting me tell my Volvo story. I appreciate it. That's a lot of fun. Do you need this thing over here? You don't? Okay, cool.
You guys think you think he's amplifying that. It was really like that. It was really like that. Early in the business, man, we were like, we didn't just want to make $100,000. We poured all our money back into building the business because Andy was pouring all his money back in the business. It was delayed gratification, right? We weren't going to buy these cars or anything. We poured everything back in. You know, make a couple $100,000, we just leveraged it. That's why we've made millions of dollars over the last 20 years because we kept doubling down. We kept doubling down our time, our money, and our emotion in this business. And man, those are some of the fondest memories that I have. And it's great to look back on it. And so y'all are going through the same thing. Write your story because as you're going through the struggle, the victory will be so sweet. I promise you, man. That's good stuff. Oh my. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up with this. As many of you know, I'm a big numbers guy, right? I'm big on examining businesses as a business. And I think sometimes we don't appreciate what we don't understand. Have you ever kind of like gone through life and all of a sudden you understand something and you finally appreciate it, like your spouse, right? When you finally understand your spouse, like, oh my gosh, I so appreciate my spouse. You know, anything that you don't understand, you really can't appreciate. And I think sometimes we take the alliance for granted. Sometimes we really don't know the advantages that we have over other programs out there. And I don't care what you're looking at, what other business you're looking to invest your time, money, and emotion in. I think, man, we've got such an awesome opportunity. So as I was thinking about this whole concept, I was thinking, you know, what is it about the alliance that, you know, when you kind of look at it as a whole, as a business model, right? And so I recruit a ton of people, man. I think as of July, it was like 65 direct to me. And I talked to a lot of people. So what I did was I wrote down what are the common things people are looking for out there. Like I thought this would be kind of an interesting study, Terry. Let's just find out, let's write down what people are looking for as I interview these people, okay? So I was talking to this guy a couple weeks ago, and he goes, I asked him, so, you know, how come you want to leave your current company? What is it about? And he goes, man, I can't get any leads. Like, what do you mean you can't get any leads? He goes, well, I live here in this area, and my upline manager says I got to go 2 states away. I go, really? And I go, well, let me look at our lead map, and let's see how many leads are in your county. I go, we have 36 A leads in your county. Like, what's up with that? And he goes, I don't know. I go, well, it's probably one of those companies. Tell me the company. I go, okay, I know the deal with that company. They already have 20, 30,000 a month producers in his area, and they're not just going to give A leads to let this guy buy A leads, right? So they're going to make him go 2 states away to run leads. The guy goes, I can't do that because I've got a family. I can't afford the time. I go, well, that's how it is out there in that world. And I said, look, let me show you what our lead map is. And he looked, and I went to his state, and I said, look how many leads we have. He goes, That's amazing. I go, well, we've been doing this 20 years. I told them back in 2006, we created our own lead generation company, so we no longer had to buy data and stuff mailers, right? And he just was like shocked. And I go, you know what? That's exactly what we have. Now, so the Alliance, you look at the Alliance, and Andy Albright, they're a support system for you, okay? Now you have two choices. You can either be Joe's Six-Pack Agency and start your own deal, right? And so what are you confronted if you want to start your own agency, your own system, and you want to hire agents all over the country? Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to do leads? Or are you going to get warm market lists from your agents that you hire so you can get into their warm market to sell life insurance to all their people as a training incentive? And then you go, well, how about me? He goes, well, you go hire 3 other people and then get into their warm market. And their hiring becomes their lead program, hiring new agents. It's like, man, we don't work like that. But you got leads, you got a warm market, how are you going to do it? Well, if you're going to do leads, you don't want to, get alienated from your family and friends, you can go to one of those lead generation companies and spend $500 for 1,000 mailers. Okay, you can Google it. $500 for 1,000 mailers, and mortgage protection return rate is 0.25%. So out of 1,000 mailers, you're going to get 2.5 leads. Okay, if you do $500 in 1,000 final expense, you're going to get like 10. That's the return rate. So imagine coming up with $500 and then having 2.5. You don't know if they're going to even answer your call. You don't know if they're going to say, well, I didn't fill that out, right? Yeah. And then if you make one sale, then you got to wait for that money to come in and then invest again, right? It's like, do you want to do that? What this guy has to do is figure out how to do leads, right? He's got nothing. How's he going to support his agents? Well, I'll do all my own ride-alongs. Because I talked to a guy that had an agency, and he goes, so you manage an agency, how many agents did you have? He goes, I had 20 agents working for me. He was like, 20 agents? I go, so how long did that last? And he goes, about a year. Well, what happened? He goes, I got sick and tired of babysitting them. I had to take them on ride-alongs, and then they sort of get productive, and then they quit, right? And you're going, why did they quit? Well, they can get 100% contract with another company. Like you can get 100% contract with one of our carriers, right? And you try to keep these guys at a 75%, you're making 25% on them until they realize, hey, I can do what you're doing. And then they quit you. And then he goes, I'm constantly babysitting, and it was a revolving door business, and I just wasn't making any money. I got so sick and tired of it. I go, yeah, man, that's what happens when you try to do this on your own. And then you got to get your knowledge, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to go on late night TV, and you're going to get all those get rich quick and the life insurance agency programs, right? Who's going to help you if they know you're a competitor? Right. So you have no help with the knowledge and training because no one is going to just give it to you unless they're going to hire you. But you wanted to be independent. You wanted to make all the money, right? You got 100 contract. How many of y'all have recruited someone and said, well, I got 100 contract? Yeah. Okay, brother, how much money did you make last year? Right. 50,000. What? Right. We got guys at 100 contract making $500,000 a year. Right. Like, what is wrong with you?
Right. Uh-oh. That's a good question. That's a good question right there.
What is wrong with you? And they're going, well, well, I don't want to give up. What am I going to get if I give up my 100 contract for a 55 contract? What are you going to get? How about making money? See, it's not about what you're giving up. It's what are you going to get? And so when I answer these questions about no leads, we've got a pro data research, okay, headed up in the Alliance. We've got the lead performance team. We got 20 different varieties of leads. We've got a lead management system that's all online. We have a system here, people that'll help guide you where to go run leads, where are the most effective counties, lead performance team run by Clay Murtis rocks, and you're not paying for Clay to advise you. He will advise you to go wherever you need to go to make money. And they're consultants at your fingertips. So you get access to PDR. All right? I had a guy who said, well, the Arley program, man, I'm so sick of it. It's like, all I do is try to sell to union people. Really? Yeah, union people. And all we can sell is whole life policies. Like, what is that about? Because they have us going all over the state to sell these union people who just want their free $1,000 accidental death. Right. And it's like, so what's the problem? How come? I heard people are making a lot of money doing that. It's like, man, they have me working 7 days a week, and all we sell is whole life. And if they don't qualify for whole life, then we can't get them covered. I go, seriously? You only have one product with one company? It's like, dude, we got 15 different companies, right, that we can sell whole life, guaranteed issue whole life, term, simplified issue term, universal life, indexed universal life, and we have relationships with these carriers that is just incredible. And we can cover anybody, whether they're super sick, going through dialysis, going through cancer. And this guy's going, seriously, man, we only have one company. I talked to another guy, all they sell is indexed universal life. And I go, well, what if someone needs mortgage protection and want to buy a term? Well, we just try to sell them indexed universal life. Well, what if they can't afford, that their cash value can't grow? Well, I don't know. It's like, seriously? We've got 15 companies that Andy Albright has put together to help us help all these clients with every possible product out there. We're not a one-trick pony. All right? I talked to another guy, and he says, man, I just can't close the barn door. I go in the home, and I can't close nothing. I go, well, don't you have a training program? He goes, well, they have us trying to duplicate this top producer. He's been in the business 20 years. And I go, well, if you just do what he did. He goes, well, the problem is he's got a really quirky personality. And he goes, I try to do what he does, but he's just really crazy and really off a little bit. And I go, and I couldn't do what he's doing. And plus some of the stuff he was saying was a little bit, not on the up and up. And I just couldn't do that. I go, seriously, dude, man, we got this thing called an ATM, Alliance Training Manual. And what we did was we put together a system that's principle-based. It's not based on personality. It's a systematic process of taking a client from building a relationship, finding out the problem that they're trying to solve, creating that situation where they want to take care of their families. And it's not based on personality. It's based on sound principles. Anybody's personality can make it work. In fact, with our ATM, we can get a 55% closing rate for a brand new person, up to a 75% with someone who's got more experience as they get educated in our system. This ATM rocks. He goes, man, what is that about? I go, it's this flip chart. Flip chart, that sounds like old school. Brother, it's old school. You don't got to plug it in.
Right.
And the fonts are big enough that old people can read it. Right? He goes, wow, that sounds like really, and it's like it works. It works, and if you're not making sales, I can coach you through every step of the process so that you can make it work. Here's the other thing, and I had another guy, I told him, through our ATM process, we're able to find annuities. He goes, what's that? I go, well, you're a life insurance agent. Do you sell annuities with your system? He goes, man, we don't sell annuities at all. Seriously? The people you're covering have money that they're looking to pull out of IRAs and 401ks. They're looking to get it out of the market. You tell me you don't have a system whereby you can identify those people? Because, man, I don't even know the first thing about annuities. It's like, dude, we got a company, part of our company called Burlington Alliance Capital Management. Bam! And we have a guy called Chris Norris, who is a registered investment advisor, who's bound to only tell you what is good for you. And we can get you on the phone with him and see if there's something we can do for you. And the guy's going, seriously? You don't have to really know anything about annuities? No, because as Chris talks to him on the phone, he's going to teach you while he's doing it with your client, and then you're going to learn how to do it. right? We got people making $1 million, $2 million right in face value of annuities, making 100, 150,000 just on the annuity side. And this guy was like blown away that we actually had a system that he didn't have to be an expert in annuities, but we had a system to find people with annuity money. And he was like going nuts. I go, oh, but there's more. Like this guy, I mean, I was writing all these things I was telling this guy because I wanted to record this, right? I go, by the way, we've got another program called Index Universal Life for people that want to create tax-free retirement for their future. They got to be the right kind of client, but you know what? You don't even know you don't have to know how to do this because who do we have? We have Gina Hawks, who you can do the same thing. Set up an appointment with your client. You're there. You get her on the phone, and she'll talk to him about the advantages of IUL. And then she's going to tell, okay, Alex, here's what you need to do. Here's a proposal, and then just write it up. And then how many people have free advisors to advise them on making these sales? Like this guy was going nuts, man. Seriously, you do that on this sales system of yours? It's like, absolutely. But wait, dude, check this out. So your clients that you take care of, they automatically go into a CRM program, and that CRM program will auto-populate everything in that application into the CRM. And then you can set up a drip campaign for emails and texts on the client's anniversary, on holidays, and you can totally customize it like it's exactly coming from you. But here's the thing, it's totally automated. So while you're putting clients into that, it's generating more opportunity for you in the future because a client will buy another 3 to 5 other policies if they stick with you over the long term, especially if they're younger, right? This thing does it automatically. He was like totally blown away, all right? Here's the other thing. We have a thing called renewals. We have a thing called renewals. So when you make sales, okay, we have a thing called renewals. And the guy says, well, this is a guy that sold only term policies, right? It was one of those guys that sell term and invest the rest. And all they sell is term policy. I go, dude, do you know that term typically doesn't have any renewals? He goes, tell me what renewals are. Well, renewals is this opportunity to create long-term income when you sell the client first year, and then you get paid the second year, third year, fourth year. If the client keeps their policy 60 years, you're going to get a little cha-ching every time, right? And then I talked to one of our agents, and he didn't even know what renewals were. I go, seriously, you don't know what renewals are? Do you know you get renewals on your policies on, let me show you. I think I have it here. These are the renewals. So this is the ARC 100 percentage. You multiply your annual premium by that 65.22, and then you multiply your commission rate against that. Do you know that Transamerica, if you take it for the next 30 years only, that the amount of renewals is another 52.2% on the annual premium? Now, check this out. So you know how pro athletes, they get their bonus, and they talk about their compensation over the next, and then they talk about their future compensation. So a package worth $220 million. I think that was like Alex Rodriguez, right? They're not talking about the first year bonus. They're talking about the total comp package. Gang, when you write a policy, you got a total comp package of 117.42% with Transamerica. When you add Phoenix, it's 108. This is whole life. CFG is 100. Moo's 93.7. Forster's Plan Right. Do you see how the renewals kick in? Man, this rocks. This is simplified issue term. Now notice, there are 0 renewals on Forster, CFG, and Moo. There are some with National Western Life. Actually, they cut quite a bit of renewals, 12.69, so on. Do you see how the renewals work? Now check this out. I did a study on my agency, and I looked at, so what percentage does like the average agent, when they write through the course of a year, what percentage do they write in their business? Everyone focuses on simplified issue term, but we only do about 21% of that. So if you, through the course of a year, you're only going to write about 21% of your business with simplified issue term. So I did this study. If you did 10,000 issue paid a month and you're at an 80 contract, 46.37 will probably be whole life, 21% will be term, simplified issue term, universal life will be about 11%, guaranteed issue whole life will be about 10%, IUL 7.4%. I did a study in my agency, my entire hierarchy, which we do, 5 to 700,000 issue paid a month. These are the percentages, right? And so when you look at the percentages of your renewals, check this out. So you go through 10,000 a month at an 80 contract, your total comp first year is 66,000, but check out the renewals that you put in place. $35,000 in renewals. That is a real thing. That is a real thing. Check this out. If you have agents that you've hired, you get an override on their renewals. Does that rock? Getting override on their renewals. And how many of y'all had an agent quit? Anybody have an agent quit? Okay, that's a reality of the business, right? Well, guess what happens to the renewals? They go upline to you. So you get to make money whether they stay or whether they go. Should I stay or should I go? Da 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 da. I mean, we don't want people to leave, but you know what? When they make bad decisions, hey, I'm sorry, but I get your renewals, man. I'm so fired up. Anyway, I don't want to, that sounds bad, doesn't it? God forgive me, okay. So we got the renewals going on. Okay, what else we got? Oh, how many of y'all talk to agents that say, I don't get any training? What? They just said, hey, just call all your family and friends, and then when you got to write an application, just give us a call. Like, but you're not going to train me. Well, I mean, how many of y'all heard that? We don't get any training. Well, I go, okay, dude, well, let me show you what we do. We have a thing called Alliance University that will help you. We've got the best video package in the world. And you know what the 101 courses cost? $0. You pay nothing, and you're going to have Gina Hawks teach you about every product. You're going to have Andy Albright teach you about placement of persistency. You're going to learn how to book an appointment, with Chadwick Ray. Then we have our live training meeting at hotspot meetings in about 100 cities across the country, dude. You are going to be able to go and get live training from agents that will take you on ride-alongs. And here's what's cool about this, is these people don't even have to be in my agency. They will help you. Why? Because it's our culture. Because those people that are helping you, they send people to me in Cincinnati, and I'm going to have one of my agents take them on ride-alongs. We are going to help everybody in the alliance, regardless of whether you make money off them or not. It's a unique culture. So we've got hotspot meetings. We've got President's Club. This is a special opportunity to hire, for $100 a month, a professional staff to help you with making dials, sales. They'll also help you with your organization. Like if you've got agents that need some help, your agents don't even have to be on President's Club. You can have the President's Club people like Lucero go and help them. They'll help them with dialing. They will advise them. It's like having an extra staff for $100 a month. And then they'll give you 2 websites, a sales website and a recruiting website. Oh my gosh, man, I had so many people in that, right, sign up. You can get 50 resumes, recruiting resumes a week. I mean, it's packed with value, and that's an opportunity as well. We got our national conferences, our functions, and we bring everyone into the Prosperity Hall, where we can get training from the top agents in the country, the top managers, the top income earners, right? We got webinars, conference calls like this one here. This is the Wednesday call. We got the activity call on Friday. We got the product training call on Thursday, right? We got that. We have NEA TV, where all these calls and webinars reside in a library where you can catch up on anything that you need. We have the Alliance Media app, where you can roll down the highway, and not on a cassette, right? But you can listen to it on your phone. That cracks me up. Okay, and then you have your upline support that will help you. And then Andy Albright has wrote 4 awesome books that will teach you to get your mind right in this business. All right? This is how we educate people. Is that insane, what we provide people with training? I talked to someone who said, man, I asked her, why are you leaving? She goes, man, no one gives a crap of what I do. Like, no one appreciates anything I do. It's like, seriously, are you kidding me? We appreciate everyone in the Alliance because we have a culture of recognition, right? You can come into a hotspot meeting and you can be down in the dumps, but you got people that put their arm around you and say, hey man, what's up? We're here to help you. We got people that will uplift you and support you. They will celebrate your wins. If you did premium, they'll celebrate your win. If you didn't do premium, they'll still celebrate you that you came out, and they're going to help you get over what the thing is stopping you from making sales. Does that make sense? We have trips. We have trips. So you can compete on trips. We have contests. So anyone who's like interested in getting recognition, you have to work for it, but you know what? We're going to celebrate you too. Everything, it's a whosoever doeth business, and we're going to celebrate what you do and the results that you create, like this Alaska leaderboard, like the agent levels. We got a system to do that. So if you're feeling underappreciated, man, we are going to appreciate you, but you got to work and earn it. And I think that's all anybody ever wanted, was a shot.
That's right.
Right? A guy asked me, man, like, how do y'all chargebacks work? Like, what do you mean? Well, I'm trying to keep up with this chargeback thing, but it's just, and I go, well, I mean, we have this thing called an ARC. What's an ARC? Okay. Well, an ARC is a way, that's our compensation system. It's a way that you can manage any agent chargebacks that you get when a client cancels their policy, where it's not just from it can be from one company, but check this out. You can take your commissions from all the other companies and you can pay a small percentage to pay that chargeback off so that you'll still get paid. You will still make money. That company's not going to suck all your commissions and you get zero money. We have a system whereby you still get paid. Your debt will be paid off week after week, little by little, and you don't have to suffer the stress of one chargeback taking away all your commissions, and then you're going to your wife going, honey, we ain't got any money to pay the mortgage. We have the brilliance of Andy Albright is putting together a system that we can manage that stuff. I have people asking me, so do I got to really sell all my life? Do I got to man, I've been selling insurance for 20 years, and it just seems like I cannot get off this treadmill. Like I can just barely make it, but I'm not getting any traction in this business. It's like, what do you mean? Well, I don't have enough money to put away for retirement. I'm just like, I have nothing for retirement. And this dude was like 50. I'm going, shoot, that sucks, man. So what are you going to do? Well, man, I'm just looking for something. I'm looking for something I could turn that around. It's like, well, you know what? I think we got a long-term future for you. We got a way that you can create renewals. We got a way for you to build a business. You can build a business that will provide you the long-term money that will create a retirement program for you. Because when you got an agency rocking, you can work your way out of the field into full-time agency management, and then pretty soon you're going to find enough people where it's just going to run. Why? Because Andy Albright created a system to do it. A system to do it. And we have this thing called premium financing. When you get to the agency manager level and above, what Andy Albright's going to offer you, okay, is an opportunity to put golden handcuffs on. And man, are they golden. Because he's going to allow us to do what rich people do, which is invest in, I can't use that word, put money into an indexed universal life, gobs of millions of dollars in a universal life, so by the time you get to where you want to kind of maybe take a little bit step back and want to, enjoy the fruits of your labors, there are going to be millions of dollars there for you, not only in life insurance for your family, but millions in retirement for you to tap into tax-free. Say tax-free. That's what I'm talking about. Andy Albright, between my insurance policy and my wife's insurance policy, is putting $800,000 a year for the next 15 years in our policy. And it's not costing me a dime. Well, Alex, how can he do that? Because he's borrowing from a bank. It's like this most brilliant thing in the world called premium financing, where you can borrow money from a bank to put it in the premiums. We pay the interest rate as we go along, and then we have this big ASS policy out in the future where our family's taken care of, our retirement's taken care of, and we didn't pay a dime for it. But you know what we did? We decided to believe in Andy Albright and the system he's put together for us, right? Man, this is like getting crazy. Now we have an infrastructure, okay? We have an infrastructure of this building and everyone in it that supports Andy Albright and his dream and vision. So we have all the programmers. We have our contracting office that supports us with contracting. We have Jeff Bright, who is our sociologist. Jeff Bright, my buddy, who helps us figure ourselves out so we can help other people figure themselves out. Man, our business, our culture had made a significant change when Jeff joined us, man. And he's been with us 7 years. He joined us full time just a little while ago, and man, it's making a huge difference. He hired a consultant called Tim Goad, who's really our pastor, okay, for whatever you want to call it. And he counsels people, whether it's addiction, whether it's marriage problems, whatever junk someone's having, you can call Tim Goad and he will help you. And I don't pay for that. I don't pay for him to do that. He will do it in my organization. Good people that just need a little bit of help. That's right. And you know what I do? I contribute to his ministry. Right. You know, because I feel compelled that he's doing something good for the people that need help. Right. We got Jim Henson, who's the guru. He's been in insurance like 50 years. And he has all the relationships with insurance companies. That's why we have this new company coming up that I am fired up. They have one of the best IULs out there and an awesome annuity program. He's negotiating that right now. We got Doc Rock, another management consultant that gets us fired up about being in this business. And he has these great management nuggets that will help us build our business as well. We got our lead R&D, Tony Hardy. They are always looking around the corner for the next great lead system. I'm always confident that we are going to have another lead program, another opportunity to serve clients because Tony Hardy's out there hitting it hard. We got Mac Hefner, who is our public relations guy, and he helps Andy write his books. Man, this infrastructure is something that you didn't have to capitalize, right? So when a guy says, well, I got a 100 contract, what am I giving up? It's like, seriously? What are you giving? You're giving this crap up, and you're trading it for this. You know what I'm saying?
Come on here.
So, here's the glue that puts it all together. This is something that you can't buy. This is something you can't, like no one, or people out there can try to duplicate us. What they can't duplicate is our culture. And it starts with Andy Albright. And it starts with his vision that he's put together for this business. A legacy he's trying to put in place long-term for his family and his kids and his kids' kids, his grandchildren. Most guys, when they start a business, they look to build it and then sell it, right? And then, hey, all y'all that helped me build this business, God bless you, good luck. I'm going off to the Bahamas. And they could care less about them. Andy Albright, over the years, have been offered money to buy us. But he said, why would I want to do that? I want to help you guys. I want to help Terry and Tia. I want them to make a lot of money and the future for their children, right? I want Adam Katz. I want Stephen Davies. I want Paul Roberts. I want Diane Lampy to have an opportunity to touch other people and create a legacy for their children, right? I want Mike and Noah Leventovich to create a legacy for their children, right? I want Andy Riddle, man, to keep doing what he's doing so he can create a legacy for his daughters, right? I'm going, man, if he's got that big vision, then I can invest my vision into Andy Albright's vision. He's got a big enough dream that'll fit within what it is I want to do for my family. Because I know if he's not going to sell the company, he's going to keep it forever, then I can invest my time, energy, and effort, my time, money, and motion in it to create a legacy for my family, for my 5 kids. And 3 of my kids have committed to get life insurance licenses. Those are 3 legs right there, baby. We going senior board member, man. Now, how many companies have a vision of prosperity, inspiration, and eternity? Prosperity for us and our friends. Do you think you can be prosperous with an ATM that allows you to do all of this stuff? It didn't even mention the ERS program where we can turn people, our clients, into referrals. We get on the ERS Express train and we wean ourselves off leads. Is that cool? So prosperity, inspiration. Man, we talked about going through the struggle. And you might have struggles, but you cannot share your struggles until you get the victory. That's what makes this business awesome, because we revel in listening to people's victory over their struggles, just like Patrick, right? And it makes people understand, like, when I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You know why? Because Christ uses you and your stories to strengthen all of us, that whatever you're going through and overcoming, we can too. It's incredible. So eternity. Man, how many people talk about eternity? You know, we are born and then we leave. And we are going someplace that we are going to be accountable to this dash right here. And so when you start looking at things from the eternity perspective, all the crap you're going through now is just a drop in the ocean. What you're going through now is going to help other people realize, you know what? There's more to life than money. This life is about serving others. How many people have a culture like that? Then we got the light of day, duplication, association, edification. We got our 8 core values that define this culture of ours. Here's what I love about the 8 core values, is that when we bring people on that aren't down with our 8 core values, then we don't want them. Because anybody that diminishes our 8 core values diminishes our business. And you might think that person happens to be in Washington State. How can he affect my business? Brothers, sisters, you don't know how this business works. Because that guy does not adhere to our 8 values. He tears the business down. He tears all our businesses down. Here's a corollary to that. The corollary is you do the 8 values and you try to be better at the 8 values. Guess what? The culture increases and our capacity to grow increases. And all of you all and me affect each other's business. We're all in this thing together. Then we got the 8 steps to success, right? And then we got the have fun, make money, and make a difference. Does that rock? All right. So let's show you just a simple plan. So do you want to be Joe's 6-pack agency? Or do you want this? Because this will keep your agents adhering to a culture. This is a sticky culture. And even if you're not into rah-rah, well, I'm not into the rah-rah. You know what? Your people are. And God bless them because they get to rah-rah this. And you get to rah-rah to the bank. And when you rah-rah to the bank, man, you are going to be into rah-rah, let me tell you. So I always like to show a program that you can make this business work. If you set 6 appointments, you're going to sit on 4, you're going to close 2, and you're going to get 2 ERS sales. And this is only on working 48 weeks out of the year. At a 55%, check this out. First year income, $44,800, and this is only about 10, 15 hours a week. You're not even working full time. Your renewals is $17,424. Conservative, right? So let's say you know a couple people that do the same 6, 4, 2 plus 2. You move up to team builder at 70%. You bring 2 people on. Your income almost doubles at $81,600, and your renewals are $31,680. Have you ever seen the renewal part? It's really the rest of the story. Now check this out. You got 4 people in your front line doing this, and you got this guy has 2 more, they're all doing 642 plus 2, you get to the 85% agency manager level. First year income, $187,680. Your renewals are $72,864. Now here's the thing, if you can do it, you can teach it, right? So let's show you what happens when you teach 6 other people to do what you've done. How many people are this, by the way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you help 6 other people do what you've done, and this is what, 8, 16, 6 times 8, 48 other people do 642 plus 2. You're executive vice president at 110%. You also get an 8% additional GLOW override on each agency manager's organization. So check this out. First year income, if you were still doing 642 plus 2 out of 110, $89,760. Your override income is $1,086,960, and your GLOW bonus is $313,344 for a total of $1.3 million, almost $1.4 million. Now check the renewals out. 35,000 renewals, 414,000 in overrides on the renewals, and 121,000 of the overrides on the GLOW bonus. 536,659. And every year you do this, you add another layer of renewals of 536,659. Every year you do it. So why wouldn't you want to recruit to a culture where you can do this, and these people are fired up about where they're going. They're overcoming challenges in their life, and they fall in love with the culture. They fall in love with Andy Albright, and they fall in love with you because you help them change their lives, right? So man, I'm proud to be part of this company. I'm proud to be mentored by Andy Albright. He is my friend. Jane Albright is my friend, and they've helped us through this cancer thing. If they could help us through this thing, man, imagine what they could do for you. And I'm grateful that Andy decided to pick up the phone and show me. Now, how many people are on your list that you have not shown this to? Because here's what Matthew Kelly says. In the book, Culture Solution, he says, human beings have a powerful desire to belong. But more than simply belonging, we want to belong to something that we can be proud of and take joy in. And when we do, we tell everyone we know about it. We tell everyone we know about it, man. TWC, it's been my honor. God bless Andy Albright, right? God bless Jane Albright. Thank you, everybody. Let's rock this thing.